Will the next interest rate announcement in September cause the real estate prices to fall or rise? There are many mixed opinions about this topic. Some say the real estate prices will crash and will hit recession, and others say it will bounce back hard and will have rising prices in the near future. In this video, I'll share a market update of the PO region and my predictions of what we can expect in the rest of 2022. This is Chandra from the Chandra Real Estate Group. We run a real estate team here in the Greater Toronto area. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, feel free to click on the link below and we'll be happy to chat with you about your real estate goals. We've also included a link below to get a monthly market update of your home value. We always get valuations of our stocks and mutual funds on a monthly basis. Why can't we get that for real estate as well? That's the reason I put this program together. It's free of cost. All you have to do is enter your address below and you'll get a monthly market update as if you're getting a valuation done of your property every month. Along with that, we've included a buyer guide. There is a link below to access that. This covers every step of the way to purchase a property in this market. These resources are completely free and no obligation. It's just my way of providing value and keeping you informed and educated about the current real estate market. We will be covering the Peel region in particular, and for those of you that don't know, the Peel region covers Brampton, Mississauga, and Caledon. We will be covering 5 key points to sense the pulse of the market and where it's headed. We will be seeing this information as a real estate agent does, and the public doesn't have access to this information. When we see this graph here, looking at the sales in August, we can see that they are higher than July, which means the market is starting to move and there's more activity in the real estate field. However, when we compare these sales with last year, they're astronomically low. When we look at the yearly sales, we can see that in 2020, we saw very high sales, and it makes sense because there was a lot less to do outdoors and real estate was an essential service, so people were still transacting. Then in 2021, when the lockdown started to get lifted slowly, we started to see sales drop because people had other things to do than worry about real estate. Moving on, in 2022, now that there is no lockdown, we've seen astronomically low sales, which gets us to wonder, is the market really healthy right now? In the past 3 months, here's how many cancellations and expired listings we've had in the PO region. In June, we had a total number of cancellations and expired listings at 3248. Then in July, that number dropped down to 2577. And now in August, the numbers are 2595. So we've had the lowest number of cancellations and expired listings in August. That's a good sign of the market starting to improve because people aren't canceling and expired listings as much as they were in the past 3 months. Moving on, average prices. Here's a snapshot of the average prices in August of 2022. Average prices. Let's talk about the average prices since March in the PO region. Looking at this snapshot, we can see that the average prices have trickled down since March. We're sitting at 1.21 million as our average sales price right now, which is lower than last month of July, and it's actually now lower than last year of August as well. Now keep in mind, August is known to be the slowest month of the year usually. However, the amount of cancellations and expired listings painted a different picture, and now when we look at the actual average sales or average prices, I must say, we can see that they've also dropped. So is the market actually on an incline or a decline? I will share my opinion about that in just a moment. Now, as we move on and we look at the year-to-date average sales price, we can see in 2020, we had 968,000 as our average price. Then in 2021, it jumped up 20% at 1.2 million. Then in 2022, another 20% at 1.4 million. Is this sustainable? Not at all. Lot of people would agree with me on this, that a 20% growth is not only not sustainable, but dangerous. It's asking for a bubble or a recession down the road because people will be having a hard time afford that kind of a purchase price. When we look down at the graph, we can see that the price adjustments have now somewhat balanced out and reached the same point as they were during the pandemic in 2020. I would say this is more of a balanced market than it was before, just shooting up with no real purpose. Last but not least, days on market. This tells us how healthy the market is. In other words, it tells us how long it takes to sell a property in today's market. If the number is high, it's a buyer's market. And if the number is low, it's a seller's market. Looking at this report, we can see that today we are in the highest number of days of market that we've ever seen in 2022. In July, we had 17 days on the market, which means that's how long it took to sell a property. And it was less in June, May, and the previous months. Here's what's interesting. When we look at 2019, August days on market, we were actually at the same number as we are now. And look what happened between then and now. Prices shot up. So it is quite possible that we are in a slow month of the year and days on market is just high at this point, but it's a calm before a storm. Notice when we look at the last year's days on market, we can see that the months of July and August were more or less similar and very slow. I'm very curious to see how the market unfolds in the next few months. Which brings me to a few observations I have made of how the market will play out in the last quarter of this year. We see less cancellations and expired listings in August than July, but we see a higher number of days that it takes to sell a property today than in July. This means a number of things. Sellers aren't selling their properties until they get the price they want, which is why we're seeing less expired and cancellations in the market, and we're seeing more days on market. There are a higher number of sales in the market, which means there is more activity than there was before. Average prices are at an all-time low this year, which means we could have hit the bottom of the market at this point. Let's take a look at this article. It states that the Bank of Canada may not increase interest rates in September. The only reason we saw prices dip this year are because of the constant rate hikes. So if that doesn't happen in September, we can safely expect the prices to start rising gradually. When we go on and read in this article, we can see that could the upcoming Bank of Canada interest rate decision in September be the last bump up in central bank's current rate hike cycle? At least one analysis thinks the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce seems to think so. This means that we may still see a rate hike in September, but that might be the last one, which might start to stabilize the market and start inclining the prices down the road. There are many mixed opinions about the market and in the industry in general. Some say the interest rates will continue to rise and prices will fall further, and others say differently. Whatever you search for on the internet at this point will have some sort of evidence. The truth is, if you will be owning your property for 3 to 5 years, you can expect it to grow drastically in price. If you are planning to do a short-term investment, I would caution you to buy a property at the right price, because the whole investment can fall apart if you don't buy the property at the right price, especially in these extremely volatile price fluctuations. Hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Until next time, we provide results that move you.